Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So we have Jaden, Sancho, Halland and Jules Conde on our transfer wish list and want to sign at least one of them in the summer transfer window. Now Jaden Sancho put a very good performance out in Dortmund's 3-2 win against Sevilla recently. He has now 100 goal contributions in 100 starts for Dortmund, 43 goals and 57 assists. Now, Kicker via Sports Witness recently said a Jaden Sancho transfer is coming in the summer. So we've been handed a huge boost in our pursuit of the player. £60 million has been quoted. He said not so long ago we believe we can get Jaden Sancho for just £50 million. He said earlier on this season that Borussia Dortmund reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million, so they're not £20 million off, because last summer Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. Dortmund face a summer of exits. Dortmund could sell up to 8 players to raise funds. Earlier on this season, Jaden Sancho made an admission saying that he has endured a difficult season at Borussia Dortmund. Last summer, he was our number one priority target, but like I said, we wasn't willing to meet Borussia Dortmund's valuation. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. But Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and is also close to Man United, he's spoken a lot about the Jaden Sancho transfer saga, and so too has Bill's Christian Fark. Analysing the vast majority of Jaden Sancho's career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. This is his 4th season with Dortmund. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He enjoyed a couple of years at Manchester City, but he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. That's why he left City. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. Sancho's under contract with Dortmund until 2023. Don't forget, we was willing to offer him that number 7 shirt. Dortmund have enjoyed a bad season. I'd like sitting 6th or 7th in the Bundesliga. But yeah, Dortmund are expecting him to leave in the summer. Now, Halland, he scored twice in Dortmund's 3-2 win against Sevilla. Solskjaer would love to sign Halland. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently made a new Halland transfer admission and opened up on the Halland relationship. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Manchester United. Erling Haaland's father, Alf-Inge Haaland, he's spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United earlier on this season. Chelsea have been interested in Haaland, and so too have Manchester City. But Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave him his debut at the age of 16 at Molde. So Solskjaer is keen on a reunion. Since Halland's arrival at Borussia Dortmund, he has been a revelation. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Dortmund till 2024. Next year, his £68 million release clause becomes active. But he has been at Dortmund over a year now. Jules Conde, he's our number one target for the summer transfer window. The Spanish outlet La Razón have said we are considered the favourites to sign him, and we are prepared to pay £61 million to beat Real Madrid to Jules Conde. Jules Conde's performances have been outstanding for Sevilla this season. He's played 70-odd games. He's been at Sevilla nearly 2 years. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. He's young, he's a centre-half. A new centre-back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, because we do need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. It recently said we had a 5-man centre-back shortlist. This year's summer transfer window is very, very important for Manchester United, because we do need to make more signings. It was a disappointing January transfer window for us. We only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. Solskjaer did say a few times though during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. We was focusing a lot more on the outgoings in the January transfer window rather than the incomings. And to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood now since he got recommended in. We saw a few players leave in January. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. Modena Gallo said his farewells to the club. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go out on loan. Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club. Marcus Rojo left the club. Facundo Palestri went out on loan. In the other transfer windows Solskjaer's enjoyed, we've seen players like Young leave the club, Valencia leave the club, Darmian leave the club, Smalling leave the club, Angel Gomez leave the club, Herrera leave the club, Fellaini leave the club, Sanchez leave the club. We've seen Lukaku also leave the club. We let Diego Dalot go out on loan. Dylan Levitt, let him go out on loan. Let James Garner go out on loan. I think we'll loan Joe Pereira out again for another season. So yeah, we have loaned quite a few players out. Hopefully Woodward backs Solskjaer in this year's summer transfer window. Woodward has come out several times to support Solskjaer, and Woodward has assured Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe, even when we had them very, very bad periods under him. And Woodward said towards the end of last year he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Our board do have a soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. But Solskjaer has enjoyed 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. He has made good signings, like I've already mentioned, but obviously he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. And the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players, and none of the managers have been backed enough since Ferguson retired. A lot of United fans have been demanding the board out for a while. Woodward's been at the club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. He said not so long ago that we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer. And Ed Woodward set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. I think more players will leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that Juan Mata will leave. His current contract expires in the summer. We do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Juan Mata doesn't even get in our 11 now. But he's done well in the games he's played in this season. I think Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club now over 6 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. Earlier on this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. And we got Juan Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Phil Jones, I'm expecting him to leave this year. I'm surprised he didn't leave in the January transfer window. But Solskjaer said Jones is going to be given a second chance. Jones has been out of injury for the past 12 months. This is Jones' 10th season at the football club, so he has been a long servant. He's the only outfield player that's still here since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Doesn't even get in our 11, Phil Jones. Do you think we could offload Nemanja Matic in the summer? He's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. And I think Matic has enjoyed good games at Man United, but he's also enjoyed bad games. I've always had my reservations about Nemanja Matic because he's always been a slow player. And obviously now he is ageing up. Matic has been at the club now almost 4 years. We got him from Chelsea back in 2017. For £40 million. Paul Pogba, there's still a chance that he will leave the club in the summer. Like I updated you yesterday, we've set our asking price for Paul Pogba. We want £100 million. There's 3 clubs that want Paul Pogba, and that's Real Madrid, Juventus and PSG. I think there's a good chance Paul Pogba will go back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Manchester United. And reports from Italy recently said that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. So he has had a long-running transfer saga. Paul Pogba has got a thigh injury. Solskjaer confirmed in his press conference building up to the game against Real Sociedad that Paul Pogba is going to be out for the rest of February. He is a big miss. The vast majority of his performances have been very, very good in recent months. Probably been enjoying the best period of his career at Man United since he rejoined. Earlier on this season he had an ankle injury. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So sustained a few injuries now at Manchester United. Said the other week that we'd held talks with Paul Pogba over his future, and Solskjaer came out and said that Pogba's happy at the club and he suggested he could sign a new contract. Earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on Paul Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. Last month it actually reported that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. But his future is on hold until the end of the season. Mino Raiola, he's actually desperate to get Paul Pogba out of the club in the summer. Mini Oriola recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. Mini Oriola does get criticised a lot. Mini Oriola doesn't have a good relationship at all with Man United. And he made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Not so long ago, Paul Pogba's brother gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future, and he actually advised us to sell Paul Pogba in the summer if we are to get the money. He said he could leave for nothing in 2022, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Could we offload Daniel James in the summer because he's lost his place in the team as well? James doesn't get in our 11. Maxel Tuanzebe, he's another player that doesn't get in our 11. Now, there is quite a few Manchester United fans that want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. We're enjoying a pretty bad period at the moment. We've only won 1 of our last 5 league games. We've got to get back to winning ways. But we've enjoyed a few bad periods under Ole, who was very, very poor earlier on this season. To be honest with you, I'm surprised Solskjaer didn't get sacked earlier on this season, so we actually deserve credit for sticking with him. Who was poor at the first part of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. But we've also enjoyed good periods under Ole. I'm still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in at the moment. I've already said to you, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Man United to avoid the sack. And the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. We're into the quarterfinals of that. But Leicester's not going to be an easy game. And the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and the club of our stature need to be winning trophies. I have totally disregarded the title. Manchester City are going to win the title. They beat Everton 3-1 yesterday. 10 points in front of us now. But actually, Solskjaer did say after our 1-1 draw with West Brom that we are still in the title race. And he said we will not settle for second in the title race. But that's Solskjaer just playing mind games. Because Solskjaer made an admission after our 3-3 draw with Everton, which was different to the one he made after the West Brom one, and said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. I don't know when we're next going to win a title. I think we'll win another title at some point. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Solskjaer has been criticised a lot as Manchester United. Is it fair to criticise Solskjaer? Obviously, some of the blame stems from him, but not all of the blame stems from him. I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his 3rd season and his 2nd full season. He's been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months at the club, he was the interim manager. He did very, very well in that 3-month period, so we obviously give Solskjaer the job permanently in March 2019. A lot of United fans said we did give Solskjaer the job too soon. Solskjaer's future is in doubt because Solskjaer's recently admitted that he's still waiting to open talks over a new contract. Solskjaer is into the final 18 months of his current contract. Now, it said the other week, we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. It says we could offer him a new 2-year deal, and that's if we get qualification for the Champions League and carry on pushing for the title. You know, Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract when he got the job permanently back in March 2019. But yeah, top 4 is now our aim this season. I can almost assure we'll finish in the top 4. We need to finish in the top 4 to obviously qualify for the Champions League. It'd be a disaster if we finished out of the top 4 this season. But I think Solskjaer's made good progress at Man United, despite us being out of form recently. You know, in recent months we've seen performances improve. In some games Solskjaer's got the best out of the team. We've got a very, very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. You know, Solskjaer's got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost that to Man City 2-0. You know, Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson. And I think in some games Solskjaer has showed tactical flexibility, but there's also been a lot of games where he has been tactically naive. But reflecting now on Solskjaer's being at the club, he's gained some managerial experience. He's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. But yeah, like I say, these players that are really, really improving at Manchester United. I think, you know, Dean Henderson has done very, very well in the games he's played in this season. And I think at some point Dean Henderson will become our number 1 goalkeeper, because I think he's reliable enough now to become our number 1. He has got that experience behind him. Because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And before the start of this season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United, so he committed his future with the club. Solskjaer recently admitted that it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. Jamie Carragher's recently come out and said that Dean Henderson needs to be given a running goal, and he's told Solskjaer to drop David De Gea. You know, Gary Neville came out not so long ago and said Solskjaer needs to deal with the goalkeeper situation. And he actually said we need to get a world-class goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. But I think David De Gea is going to remain our number 1 for at least this season. To David De Gea's credit, he did well in the West Brom game, but he got criticised a lot after our 3-3 draw with Everton, because David De Gea made 2 mistakes in that game. Effectively, he cost us that game. He's made calamitous mistakes now, though, in the last couple of years. This is why he's a liability now. But a few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. This is De Gea's 10th season at Man United, so he has been a long servant. When he does leave the club, I think he will go back to Spain. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he's really improving. There's been some games this season where he's got forward well, he's got into good positions, he's put good crosses into the box. Defensively, Wan-Bissaka's always been superb. There's been some games this season though where it hasn't been great. You know, this is his 2nd full season at Manchester United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019. I've got to say that Luke Shaw is really improving as well. You know, he's getting forward well, he's putting good cross into the box, he's getting in good positions, he's creating chances for his teammates, and defensively he's always been superb as Shaw. He's had a good career at Manchester United apart from his injuries. He's injury prone. Luke Shaw's been at the club now over 6 years. We got him for £30 million from Southampton back in 2014. But he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. I think Eric Bailly, he's also a very good centre-half. And I certainly prefer him to Lindelof. Solskjaer needs to drop Lindelof. But my element of concern about Eric Bailly, he's too injury prone. I think Fred's really improved under Ollie. There's been quite a few games where he's got the best out of Fred. Fred recently made his 100th appearance for the club. That was against West Brom. He weren't too good on his 100th appearance, to be honest with you. But Fred's been at the club now a few years. We got Fred in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. I've got to say, during his time in Ukraine, he was a world-class player. McTominay, I think, has improved as well. You know, he's enjoyed good games this season. McTominay did very well in the 6-2 win against Leeds. Scored twice in that one and got an assist. He did very well in the 9-0 win against Southampton. He did very well in the 1-0 win against Watford in the FA Cup third round. So yeah, he's enjoyed quite a few good games. McTominay's been part of the club for several years. Was it just after the first lockdown he signed a 5-year contract with Man United? Got a lot of development in him. Bruno Fernandes. He's an exceptional player. He's our best player and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. In most of his games at Manchester United, he has been very consistent. There has been a few games though where he has looked off the pace. I thought it was poor against West Brom recently, apart from this fantastic volley that he'd scored. Bruno Fernandes has won Player of the Month now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Bruno Fernandes said on his 12-month anniversary that he's planning on spending many years at Manchester United. And he denies that he needs a rest because he wants to help the club win trophies. He predominantly plays as a number 10. Donnie Van Der Beek's a good player when he plays. Van Der Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. You know, most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league. Solskjaer made an admission earlier on this season saying that Van Der Beek's unhappy at the club with his lack of game time, but he's promised him more game time at Man United. Now, Donnie Van Der Beek's not available for this evening's game against Sociedad. He has got a muscle injury. It's a shame really because I think he would have been involved if he'd have been available. You know, we got Van Der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid £35 million up front and there was £5 million in add-ons. He's under contract with the club till 2025 and he can play in like 3 different roles. ESPN said a few times during the January transfer window that we rejected several loan offers for him, so we was reluctant to let him go. Edison Cavani, you know, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. I think Cavani's movement in and out of the box is very good. His hold-up play is good. He creates chances and he scores goals. Edison Cavani's not available for this evening's game because he's also got a muscle injury. Cavani played against West Brom recently and wasn't too good, to be honest with you. Lacked chances in that and he was quiet, and that seldom happens when it comes to Edison Cavani. Like I updated you yesterday, Edison Cavani's future's been decided. Cavani wants to stay at Manchester United beyond this season. We have not yet triggered that 1 year extension on his contract. Cavani's into the final 4 months of his current contract. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1 year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. I think he's overtaken Anthony Martial now, if I'm going to be honest with you. Mason Greenwood, I think he's also done very, very well since he broke into the first team. This is his 2nd season in our senior squad. Mason Greenwood recently signed a new 4-year contract at Man United. And Marcus Rashford's really, really done well. He's enjoyed bad periods. He's been a bit out of form recently, but still a very, very good player. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.